Hello, good evening, and a warm welcome to matchday 29 of the Dritte Liga. And tonight we are in Saxony for the first game of the weekend, which is Dynamo Dresden take on 1860 Munich. Rudolf Harbig Stadion, as you can see, pretty much at capacity. Fair old capacity as well, 32,000. Most of them passionate Dresden fans, packed in and ready to go on this Friday evening in Dresden. Perhaps surprisingly, they see Markus Anfang make just the one change from their 1-0 loss to Hallescher. On that one, an enforced one, Lars Bunning having suffered an ankle injury during training on Tuesday. Leaves a pairing in central defence of Jakob Lewald and Kevin Ehlers. Kevin Broll starts between the six again, still deputising for the injured Stefan Deljacha. As for their visitors, well, Yurios Giannakis, on the other hand, makes 4 changes to his team from 1860's 1-0 defeat to Ulm. Manfred Starker replaces the suspended Marlon Frey in central midfield. Top scorer Julian Gutau and Kilian Ludwig return after a flu absence, replacing Mansour Urotagba and Khan Kurt respectively, whilst Fabian Greilinger takes over in the other fullback position for the newly sick Michael Gluck. It is far from the only injury problem for Markus Anfang, however. Tobias Graulich out with a thigh injury, Jonathan Meyer with a hip flexor, and Berger with calf problems. Jakob Leber as well, suspended. So not all the first 11 choices that Anfang may have wanted, but it is an 11 who really have to come up with the goods. And 3 points this evening. 1860 travelled best part of 500 kilometres from the south of the country to the east to be here tonight. Meanwhile, the distance between the two in the standings has been decreasing. Dynamo appeared to be in a 2-horse race for the title with Jan Regensburg as we return from the winter break, but since then they have lost 5 games. Regensburg have also faltered at points, which meant Dynamo still had the chance to return to the summit. Against 3 weeks ago, they lost there and have taken just 1 point since, drawing 2-2 with Essen. Finally, their first draw of 2024. But then losing to relegation candidates Hallescher last weekend. Dominik Baumann with the game's only goal in the 83rd minute. Salt applied to the wound when Lemmer was sent off in the 90th minute. Things have been far rosier since the turn of the year for 1860, however. In fact, up until last weekend, they remained unbeaten since New Year's Day, albeit in a rather unorthodox manner. A 6-3 win in the early January friendly, a 4-1 win on the return to action. 3 successive draws, then 4 successive wins. 2-0 versus Essen, 3-1 versus Ingolstadt, 1-0 versus Hallescher and Werl. Now the streak finally came to an end last time out as they fell to Ulm 1-0, as mentioned. Also a late goal, Lucas Rosa in the 90th minute, also reduced to 10, with Frey dismissed shortly after the hour mark. So both sides looking to bounce back from a narrow defeat here, but the spirit in the 1860 camp a lot more relaxed overall than their upcoming opponents, who are in a borderline crisis. Perhaps not even borderline. Nonetheless, they applaud the fans inside the stadium who respond in kind. Sides will swap ends. Pre-match admin done by the referee. Max Berder, 34-year-old, handed out a red card during his last Dritte Liga game between Auer and Lörbeck back in January. Also fourth official for the Bundesliga game between Wolfsburg and Stuttgart last weekend. He'll be getting us underway in just a moment for the 21st meeting between these two sides. He does blow the whistle and away we go. Match day 29 of the Dritte Liga gets underway. Dynamo Dresden take on 1860 Munich. Dynamo in their traditional gold and black, shooting from right to left, having swapped as we watch on in this first 45. 1860 in pale blue. And they the first to get the ball towards the opposition box, coming to nothing. Has been aggressive start by Dresden, and as ever, their captain, Stefan Kuchka, making an early impression on the opposition. Just likes to throw his weight around out the front as he pushes, presses often on his own. So yes, the 21st meeting between this pair. 20 previous meetings are perfectly balanced, as all things should be. 8 wins apiece and 4 draws. Goals are almost perfectly balanced as well. 30 for Dynamo, 31 for 1860. So you could level it up with the opening goal of the evening here, the hosts. 2 of those games did take place in the top flight in the Bundesliga. 1 in the cup, 12 in the second tier. This the 6th in the Dritte Liga. 2 big names in German football, looking to get back to where they feel they belong. Dresden looking the more likely to do so, or get a bit closer to doing so in terms of the league table, but the momentum of the two tells a very different tale. Mankishi trying to spin away as 1860 looks to bring the ball out from the back, and they will eventually do so. And Ludovic can make his first venture down the right wing. Finds his opposite number, left back. Park in the way. Stop the attempted pass. South Korean has become a staple now the last few weeks in the Dresden defence. They're being used a little more sparingly in the first half of the campaign. Making a fair amount of noise inside the stadium, a little anxious, perhaps a little quieter than normal. The Dresden faithful. These are 2 very well-supported sides. Dresden miles clear at the top of the attendance table with almost 28,000 fans on average, about 10,000 clear of second place. 1860 are second in the away attendance table with about 2,000. Dresden third in that one, and Essen at the top. That a clear reason for another wonderful atmosphere here in Saxony. Now, can 1860 spoil the party early on? First free kick lifted into the box, partially dealt with. Mankishi doesn't deal with it and gives away a free kick and might get himself the first booking of the game. Indeed, he does. Shrug of innocence. But Mankishi clearly there, taking one for the team, having been robbed by Zimmerschied. Perhaps a lot made of it by Niklas Hauptmann, but certainly a collision between the two, and Mankishi not getting the ball. Easy decision for the referee. Lifted forwards for Zimmerschied. Often a creative spark down that left wing for Dresden. The team as a whole might not have been faring that well in recent weeks, but Zimmerschied has been pretty good form. It's flicked over his head by his captain there. He scored both goals in the 2-2 draw with Essen a couple of weeks back. Thomas Mashid, 4 goals and 7 assists so far. Surprisingly a club high in terms of the assists. Seemingly a little more in control after the first few minutes were going more the way of the visitors. Dresden now starting to assert their authority, and Ludwig forced to put that one behind for a corner. Will be Ahmed Arslan over to take. In his second loan spell with Dresden, this time from FC Magdeburg. Last season it was from Holstein Kiel. That loan last season was quite extraordinary, 25 goals in 36 games. Not bad for a midfielder, no wonder they wanted him back. His corner on that occasion put behind, and he will get a second attempt. So far no goals, 1 assist in his first 5 appearances. Just one of those 5 a start before tonight. This is his second start. Now, what can he do with the second corner? Headed away by the captain, Verlat. Mashid lifts it back in. Verlat heads it away again, and it will be another Dresden corner. Well, good spirits in the stands. Defiant as ever in Dresden. Club that's been through a lot over the years, over the decades. Last season was a painful one. They're hoping this season's not going to go the same way, and that is a great way to make sure it doesn't. Stefan Kuchka flicks it home and gives Dresden the lead after 7.5 minutes. Well, the captain leads by example again. His 11th goal of the campaign. Club top scorer. I'm going to move him into the top 5 of the scoring charts in the whole division. One man offside, but Kuchka certainly wasn't. And no question as to whether Kamenetz was interfering with play. That is a very clear goal, and a well-taken one by the big centre-forward. Always such a threat in the air. That one was more of a dink, quite low. Brilliant header to flick it on. Battling up against his fellow captain, getting the better of Verlat. And that will do wonders for the feeling in Saxony. Kuchka said during the week, as the crisis deepened in the club, in his beloved club, he said he thought that the players had maybe become a bit complacent over the winter in such a strong position. Maybe we saw each other too well in the winter. That's the literal translation. I think you get the point. Maybe we're not as good as we thought. Well, maybe they are. Maybe he's just shown that they are. 9 in 36 last campaign. That's now 11 in 29 so far this campaign. He's one of only 5 players to score a hat-trick in the Dritte Liga this season. The second most recent, back in mid-November. Another 3 tonight would do very nicely. And this is another one. It is very much in his kind of ballpark. And he's the one appealing for the penalty, along with a couple of teammates. Presume handball was the claim. Referee Max Berder remained unswayed, however. We'll get a second viewing. Referee not so fortunate. Yurios Janikis wanting more from his players. These players get a let off here, bounced up. It is Verlat. Hard to see from that angle. This one a little better, although it's definitely hit the forearm. Perhaps a little lucky there, the Dutch captain. You can see two players still making the point to the referee. Because the hand wasn't in an unnatural position, but it was slightly away from his body. He had time to react. Either way, nothing to change now, and the decision made at the other end of the pitch for an 1860 free kick, which is probably just about within shooting range. Would be quite an effort from that distance. It is instead chipped in by Julian Gutau. Kuchka looking to complete the clearance, but offside flag had already gone up. Colville, vice-captain, still making the point. They would have loved a second, but at least with one on the board, Dynamo will feel pretty safe. If they have taken the lead this season, they have gone on to win. 16 times before this evening, and they have won every single match in which they took the lead. Best record in the league in that particular statistic. Only two have gone on to win every time they've scored the game's opening goal. On the other side of that coin, they've almost always lost after falling behind. Failed to turn around a 1-0 deficit 6 times in a row. And of course, failing to come back from 2 down in the derby. They claimed a draw after having fallen behind twice against Essen, but returned to type last weekend with yet another 1-0 loss. They have left the field as losers 10 times with a 1-0 scoreline. That's been the case in 8 of the last 9 games where they conceded. They can forget all about that this evening. Focus on the positive statistic and look to make it 17 out of 17 when they've opened the scoring. They have to defend this corner though to ensure they hold on to that lead, at least for a while longer, if not for another 77 minutes. Schroeter with the corner from the left-hand side. It'll be an in-swinger, headed away by Park. And Kishi keeps it alive. And his ball into the danger area. Sent back where it came from though. To Nankishi again, goes down. Won't get the free kick or the corner. Loney, Abdenego Nankishi. On loan from Werder Bremen. It's just his 5th appearance since joining at the end of January. Not to score or assist. To be breaking one of those ducks if he can this evening. For now, it's Schroeter who's moved back onto the right wing. Those two will likely be swapping back and forth multiple times throughout the evening. Popular tactic in modern day football to constantly invert your wingers, keep the fullbacks guessing. It's beautifully worked down the left by Dresden. Zimmerschied now. Is it back to Park? He runs at Verlat. He was stuck. Got in the way. Park trying to ensure that would go out for a corner. Wasn't enough on the ball to settle for a throw. Hauptmann. The shot blocks. Came back for Zimmerschied. Rather rushed his effort. Well, if Dresden were defiant at the start, it's now the 1860 travelling fans showing their resilience. 1-0 down, but still making plenty of noise. Understandably, after a tricky spell, they have turned it round in 2024 with their pretty new manager. Kuchka battling as ever. Gives away a free kick on this occasion. No hard feelings between the pair, and on we go. An entertaining first quarter of an hour or so. 1860 holding their own despite falling behind and nearly conceding a second. Or at least nearly giving away a penalty. It likely would have been second soon after. Lackenmacher chasing down from the front. Very Erling Haaland-esque. 1860 striker with the blonde hair in a bun. He's a big, strong figure. Makes the press. An attack. Even when not in possession, chase down every defence all evening long. Reader. Midfield linchpin. A nervy moment there as Verlat left it. He was bailed out by Ludwig. He found himself in a foot race. Just about won. He had to win it. A little too complacent from the captain. It was a close run thing with Nicholas Hauptmann. Not the strongest starting from the 1860 captain compared to the man with the armband for Dynamo. Opened the scoring. It was he who lost. Kuchka for the opening goal. Then nearly gave away a penalty and then nearly handed a second on a plate. And Kishi wriggles away, lifted himself a yard of space to get the shot away, and gives away the free kick. Well, as part of the aforementioned Dresden crisis, sports director Ralph Becker was removed from his post on Tuesday. Marcus Anfang, on the other hand, received the backing of the board during the week. He's supposed to lead the team back on track here, and it's started well. Another promising looking move, well worked, back to Kuchka in the area. He lays it off to Kamenekt. Kamenekt wasn't quite on the same wavelength sat on his heels. Good work from Denis Borkowski. One back by Arslan. Kuchka. This time he does reach his man on the wing. Hauptmann plays it back. He's heading into the middle. Hooked away, but in the wrong direction. Ruvig is a little better of a job of clearing. And it will be an 1860 throw, much to the surprise of Park Hyu-hyun. Yes, Anfang said the boys themselves weren't happy after the game in Halle, and they know that they can do much better. I hope they've learnt from it. Apparently, in order to end this difficult spell they find themselves, he said that everything had been turned upside down as they questioned themselves. He thought only small pieces of the mosaic had to be adjusted. Perhaps being proven right in a solid first quarter of this game. I didn't think the current crisis was tied to tactics or formation, just that they needed more energy and power. There's something you could question, though. It has seemed like opponents have maybe figured Dynamo out. Particularly evident in the Auer and Halle games. Halle coach Sreto Ristic switched to a three-man defence in a compact midfield and stifled Dresden. Nipped their attacking efforts in the bud for the most part. Hauptmann, who's usually so creative, totally disconnected from the team, it seemed. Looking pretty connected so far tonight. That ball too deep in the end. Anfang is very loyal to his 4-3-3 setup. Well, it's a very specific idea. He doesn't tend to deviate from it, even when things aren't going well. You could argue that means Dynamo don't have a plan B. They'll play their game regardless of the score. It was working so well for them earlier in the season. Yeah, perfect start to the campaign. 6 wins from the first 7. Things were a little more up and down in early October, but normal service was resumed with a run of 4 straight league wins and an 8-0 winner in the Saxon Cup. But then 2024 has been a very different tale. And a whopping 10-point cushion to those outside the automatic promotion places at the winter break. 5 defeats from the 8 games since the turn of the year. They have finally slipped outside the top 2. The first time since matchday 3 coming into this weekend. 10 defeats in all. They've still won the most games in the division with 16, but in mid-table when it comes to the loss tally. 8 teams have lost fewer games, whilst 11th placed Ingolstadt and 13th placed Victoria Cologne matched them. Actually suffered 5 more defeats than 10th placed Saarbrücken. All or nothing campaign. This is a game that doesn't appear particularly likely to end in a draw. 2 of the 4 sides who have recorded the fewest draws this season, Dresden top or bottom of that particular chart, depending on your outlook. Just 2. 1860 have 5. Forwards from Ludwig. Schroeter applying enough pressure to win a throw. I'd love to level things up before half-time. It would, I'm sure they're aware, spark that self-doubt. It would be very easy to feel for the Dresden players at the moment. To focus on some of those statistics. They don't tend to draw, and if they tend to take the lead, they should win. Statistics tell a very different story, though, to what you'll find on a football pitch over 90 minutes. To wait and see what the remaining hour or so brings. The game just slowing down a touch now as we approach the half-hour mark after a pretty lively first 25 minutes. Dresden in no hurry to get things moving. As they have the ball, they'll have the lead. Waiting and looking to pick their moment. That moment was aimed at the run of Ahmet Arslan. Into the grateful arms of Marco Hiller instead. He'll be disappointed to have conceded so early on. Would have been some save from close range. Flicked on header. Long-time servant of the club, Marco Hiller. Been with 1860 since 2008, joining the youth system as an 11-year-old. Made his debut almost a decade later in 2017, but now already over 2,000 rather. That's closed down by Arslan. Might find himself in trouble. He's going to try his luck here. Here is Leroy Quadwo caught on the ball. Arslan still looking for that first goal of this second loan signing. You can see why he was tempted there, Arslan. Hiller having to backtrack. It'll be another corner, and we know how much they can threaten from these kind of situations. Arslan into the centre of the area. He was met by Kamenek. Paul Will as well, getting involved. Two less than likely scorers. Will with just the one goal this season. It is about as many as he tends to get. Best ever tally is 2. That was last season. Kamenek, meanwhile, has got 2 this season. Came in the same game. Probably should have had a hat-trick in the 3-2 win over Ulm earlier this season. As far as I remember, hit the post late on. Goalkeeping for what would have been a stunning hat-trick from the Sri Lanka international. Born to German former footballer Matthias Kamenek, a Sri Lankan mother, and that is who he has pledged his allegiance to at the international level. Lakanmaka receiving a few Words from the referee. Coming through the back of Kevin Ehlers. For Borkowski to chase. Win a corner. RB Leipzig loanee, Dennis Borkowski. As he was last year. It was 7 goals in that campaign, 3 goals, 3 assists so far this season. He has been in good form. It's honestly quite astonishing that he didn't score a couple of weeks ago. Did everything but against a heroic keeper. Might need some goalkeeper heroics here. He's cleared off the line instead by the captain, Verlat. Makes amends for earlier mistakes that may have led to goals. Because that was beyond Marco Hiller. And Verlat in the right place at the right time. Live to the danger. See him there retreating. It was Kamenekt combining with Jakob Levald. Again, unlikely scorers. I'm not even sure who it came off last. Levald may have kicked it into Kamenekt's foot. Either way, deflected beyond Hiller. Verlat there to save his side, falling 2 behind. How can they make good on that and score the second of the game themselves? It's good work from Schroeter. Hangs on to the ball. Ludwig. Stark. Gutau lifted over. It's a beautiful ball. Taken down. Cuts inside, Greilinger. Macken knocks it on. And Kishi looking to get it back to the left back. Very intricate football. It does at least win a corner. Bill back doing what he does best. Having perhaps been a little harsh on his goal-scoring abilities. Very strong defensively, Paul Bill. That is what he is signed to do. Defensive midfielder. Likes to have a pop from range occasionally, but generally focused on trying to keep clean sheets. Corner's taken short. Space for Nankishi outside the box. Cuts inside, great feet, and it's off the bar. Almost a stunning equaliser. Kevin Broll wasn't getting that. Slipped as he took the shot. Now Donego Nankishi almost worked to his advantage. He said he was looking to get rid of those zeros next to his name in the goal and assist charts. Very nearly a great way to open your account for your new, albeit lone side. There's a lot of space. Brilliantly round Park. And nearly into the top corner. Broll nowhere near it. He'll be desperate to keep a clean sheet, Kevin Broll. Bit of work to do here from the free kick, which is flicked on. Broll is out to punch. Schroeter takes this one on. No free kick, says the referee. And Dresden will look to counter with Nicholas Hauptmann. And Kishi back. Of course, a roar of disapproval from the Dresden fans, very aware that Nankishi on a yellow and that he just hit the bar. I'd quite like to get him off the pitch if they could convince the referee Max Berder. But wiser than to fall for the complaints of the crowd. It's a fine challenge. Schroeter looks to cut inside. Mackenmacher gets there first, but only finds Zimmerschied. Two captains battling again. Kuchka comes out on top again. It's with Hauptmann. Nankishi. Rather, Quadwo was good strength. Arslan tries to flick it on. Running out for a throw. Yeah, saying about Brolt, started every league game this year after Stefan Deliac's injury, as well as the friendlies a little earlier. He's managed just the one clean sheet so far. Came in his second game, started well. Down the other end, Zimmershid stinging the palms of Marco Hiller. Was straight at the keeper though. Would be expected to make the save. Well struck. Either side, and might have caused some more issues. Broll conceded 2 goals 5 times in a row heading into last weekend. He managed to reduce that to 1. Unfortunately for he and Dresden, they didn't score 1 themselves. They have scored 1 here though. And look, pretty good value for their lead. Scare through Abtanego Nankishi, just to remind them. Warning sign. Levald continuing his run all the way forwards. The shot is from the man that he picked out. Ahmed Arslan only finding the side netting. Had the space again, squared up Starker, shifted it onto his right and tried to catch Marco Hiller out. Just find that bottom corner. Wasn't a million miles away. He couldn't stop scoring goals in his previous loan signing. Not quite happening for Arslan as yet. Also not quite happened for Park there. Clearance falls to Lachenmacher, lifted back into the middle. Struck by Morris Schroeter. Couldn't keep it down. Bloodied fingers. Maybe someone bruised in the crowd. They were amused. That must have landed somewhere. It had a fair amount of pace on it. Saved by the netting. It turns out. Very difficult technique. Keep that down. The Zidane-esque left-footed volley from a fair height. Not quite as good technique as the infamous French number 5. Valiant attempt by Stefan Kuchka to keep that in. Amount to nothing. At least earns a round of applause from all of the home faithful. It's flicked on for Nankishi by Lachenmacher. It's back to number 19 now. Buys himself some space. Shot blocked. Borkowski back to win it. Legally, says the referee. And here comes the Dresden counter again. Arslan to slow things down. Too many blue shirts ahead of him. Not enough gold ones. Arslan can put it into the box. And I think he may have picked out Kuchka either way. It falls to Zimmershid. But the flag is up. Dresden fans thought they were 2-0 up. Zimmershid saw the flag quickly. It was a great ball in by Arslan. Kuchka just about drifting offside. Very tight call. I think shoulder and toe, if not heads and knees. were just the wrong side of the offside line. Cut back. It's in the opposite box, and it's equalised as quickly as that. Dresden go from thinking they were 2-0 up to being back level, and it's that man again, Abdenego Nankishi, who is centimetres away from finding the equaliser a few minutes ago. And this time, tasked with a much easier finish. And duly obliging 1-1 with 5 minutes to go in the first half. It was quickly moved upfield. Morris Schroeter with the perfect ball. And the finish, clinical from Nankishi. Not as spectacular a way to open your account as his first attempt would have been. But I'm sure he won't care. They all count the same. And that one counts for quite a lot for 1860 Munich. Excellent work from Morris Schroeter. Formerly top scorer, now second behind Gutau with 6 goals. But remains top of the assists chart. That is number 5 for the season. Started 2024 off by scoring 2 and assisting 2 in the 4-1 win over Duisburg. But had been yet to score or assist since then. No longer true of the latter. And Fang, understandably frustrated, his side on top for most of his first 45. Unfortunate not to score a second. Perhaps unfortunate not to receive a penalty earlier on. Certainly unfortunate for the second goal to be ruled out. Very tight offside. Will be at the right call. Schroeter finds that foul laughable. His collision with Park. And Anfang, animated on the sidelines, as he often is, but has been particularly in the last few weeks as things have begun to unravel somewhat for his side. Perfect start here, but once again, he's not quite going their way. There's plenty of time left though, another half, plus a few minutes here before the break. Another coming together between Schroeter and Park. This time the referee intervenes. Has a word with the pair. Can Dynamo produce another chance of note before the halfway point? Themselves a chance. Oh, nearly, in a very unorthodox fashion. Bulkowski closing down Hiller. His block nearly looping over the keeper. Not such a difference to the momentum of a game to concede late in the first half. Marcus Anfang's half-time team talk will have been ripped up, metaphorical or literal, to pick up his players after something of a sucker punch. Could argue against the run of play, particularly having put the ball in the back of the net a matter of seconds before. Kamlet rushes back to ensure he can head that back to Kevin Broll. Intricate play by Dresden. Comes to nothing in the end, and they don't get the free kick. They were expecting Schroeter lifted in. Maka looked to chest it down for Julian Gutau. Dresden fans aren't happy. The play continued, despite Zimmerschid having been abandoned on the turf. And Fritz Stark, very German name. but born in Namibia to a Namibian-born German father and a Dutch mother. Chose to represent Namibia internationally. Made his debut in 2012 and played at the 2019 Africa Cup of Nations, country's first continental tournament in over a decade. Footballing very much in the Stark family as well. Older brother of Sandra Stark, who plays for RB Leipzig and the German women's national side. Brave work. As 1860 try and bring it out. Kuchka and Zemishi charging down from the front. Quadwo content to take on his man. And he and his side, through their endeavour, have levelled things up. As the half-time whistle goes. Opener from Stefan Kuchka. Everything looked to be going to plan. That man, Tom Zimmerschi, thought he'd put them 2-0 up. Flag was raised. By the time we'd cut back from the replay, it was all level. Equaliser turned home by Abdenego Nankishi. Dresden's tough luck goes on. They'll have to put that behind them and look to level things up. And, or rather, take the lead for a second time in the second half. welcome back to Saxony for the second half of this Dritte Liga match between Dynamo Dresden and 1860 Munich. As the players head back out onto the pitch and the fans exchange niceties until it is level at the halfway point. Stefan Kuchka, the captain, leading by example, opening the scoring fairly early on with a clever flicked header. But his hard work and that of his teammates, who were on top for the most part and did put the ball into the net for a second time through Tom Zimmerschied, but ruled out for a Kuchka offside. It was all to be for nothing as that man, Abdenego Nankishi, levelled things up not long before the halfway point. Having hit the bar a few minutes beforehand, the Werder Bremen loanee, the far simpler task of slotting home underneath Kevin Broll and sending us back to square one for the second half. 1860 with far more momentum coming into the game, 4 wins from the last 5, albeit the most recent one being a loss, ending that impressive run. Dynamo bordering on crisis as their promotion hopes have taken a hit in 2024. They need to put that behind them and put Nankishi's equaliser behind them. Push on for all 3 points in this remaining 45 minutes. It will be the captain to get us back underway. Stefan Kuchka, 11 notches on his scoring headset for this year. Can he make it 12 by the full-time whistle? Yes, I'm sure he would like it to be his. He will settle for a goal from any of his players. They really do need the win here. So 45 minutes left. Every time Dresden have taken the lead this season, they've won 16 out of 16. They need to score again to keep that run going. They could have scored more in the first half. Few chances, bit of bad luck here and there. As mentioned, the offside flag up when they put the ball in the back of the net for the second time. But it's been converting their chances has been a bit of the problem. Whilst they have scored the third most in the division, they should have scored far more, at least according to the XG stats. Dresden should have already scored 56 goals compared to their 47 on the board. Coming into this game, 48 now. Now the team shoots at goal as often as the Saxons. In the home game against Essen a couple of weeks ago, they fired 34 shots alone. Only 2 of those hitting the back of the net. A little more clinical in the second half, both of this match and of the season, is required if they are to achieve their very clear objective of promotion. That was the objective last season as well, and it fell apart on that occasion. Things also started well then. 5 wins from their first 7, almost identical to this campaign. Wheels began to fall off as early as October on that occasion, winless in 6. Recovered well after the winter break, but could only manage 6th in the end. It was a loss in the penultimate game that cost them dearly. They finished 1 point behind third-placed Osnabrück, even missing out on a spot in the DFB Pokal on goal difference. Very painful end to the season. They're looking to avoid this slump becoming permanent again. Missing out unexpectedly twice in a row. Now, Can they score a second here? Another penalty shout. Again turned down. It was Denis Borkowski who went tumbling. Certainly contact. It was with Veerlaat again, involved in everything in his own box. Well, certainly Borkowski slipping inside the 1860 captain, slipping the ball inside and then smashing into Veerlaat. That's the question you'd have to ask yourself, as did the referee, was could Veerlaat do anything about that? Clearly in the eyes of the referee, he could do nothing. And so, no penalty. On we go, Dresden will have to continue to push. Forwards for Borkowski. Won the header, and he flicks it on to Marco Hiller. Shared goalkeeping duties with David Richter this campaign, Marco Hiller. This is 19th appearance, Richter with 10. He started most games recently. They snatch it down the other end. And Kishi this time turning provider for his fellow winger Schroeter. Not for the first time this evening. Schroeter not finding the target on his left foot. Not as far above the crossbar as it was in the first half. Still not good enough to turn this round. Good work again from Nankishi. Right ball. Looks promising, 21-year-old. With Angolan descent, but a youth international for Germany between under 17 and under 20. 6 appearances for the Werder Bremen senior side. Had a good loan spell in the Netherlands last season. Now looking to find form and the scoring touch in his home country. Showing good signs of doing just that, at least so far this evening. Chasing down from the front as well. Kamenek has to go back to Broll. He does well to find Arslan. That's nicely worked by Dresden. Now what can they do at the other end? Zemashid with the shimmy. Away from Ludwig. Doesn't get the corner though. They're starting to get frustrated. Both the Dresden players and fans. Things not going their way. It's felt like that's been the case quite often in recent weeks. Aside from the results, not getting certain decisions. Did look to be the final touch off the 1860 man. So a little more bad luck for Dresden. Borkowski to Zemashid again. This time an early ball in from the left. In fact, it was Parks, and Zemashid was already waiting in the box. Hauptmann this time does win a corner. Ludovic in the way. Returning from the flu, as was Gutau. You just saw drift across your picture there. A little quiet in the first half. Julian Gutau, by his standards, as mentioned, top scorer. Has been in stunning form since the winter break. Cleared away comfortably by Stark. Up in the air. Verlat knocks it down. It's going to fall for Kuchka. Air shot. It's still alive. Vil. Step over. Lifted into the middle towards Kamenex. It's going to break again on the edge. This time for Leveld. There's big appeals again. Whistles from the crowd. Looks like it was Verlat involved for what must be the third time in a penalty appeal, holding his midriff. Max Berder making himself rather unpopular in this specific area of Saxony. Interested to see that back when we get the chance. As I said in the first half, though, the referee only gets one opportunity. He made up his mind. Dresden have to put that behind them. Come again. That's what they're doing here. Zimmerschied off the bar. Well, the same bar that was struck by Nankishi in the first half. This time comes to 1860's rescue. Wonderful attempt by Zimmerschied. Said he's been in good form. Put the ball in the back of the net in the first half. Ruled out this time. Denied by the crossbar. Again, it's hit that left forearm of Jasper Verlat, and again, it is away from the body. Dresden may well have had a case there. Less time to react on this occasion for the centre-back, who's taken a pummeling. Various varieties this evening. Twice the ball has hit him. Once Borkowski hit him. On each of those three occasions, the referee did not point to the spot. And Fang starting to get irate with his decisions. He called for extreme support from the fans. Over 29,000 home spectators. The event sold out for several days. And Fang said the pressure was great. He still saw a huge opportunity if they played a good game. They have played a good game. Not quite good enough as yet. He certainly got the extreme support he asked for. You can hear the noise being made inside the Rudolf Harbig Stadion, named after German athlete Rudolf Harbig, former 800-meter world record holder. Zimmerschied pretty quick himself, but not able to keep that one in. Played too far ahead of him, too much pace. Arslan looks for options, never afraid to put a ball into the box. That's what he's done there. Verlat is down in the middle. Whoever it came off last between the two captains. There was nobody waiting to benefit from the loose ball. And Kishi, good feet once again. Stark. Lackenmacher can't return the favour. Vivanella's doing enough. Brought back in to that defensive four for the home side. Kevin Ehlers, this is his 13th appearance, one of the lesser used centre-backs, but injuries brought him more into the mix. Played most of the last 2 games. Starting his 3rd consecutive one here. And solid for the most part. Still with half an hour left on his shift. Park, as ever, putting in a good shift. Doing well to not just win the ball, but win the throw there. And Kishi to burst away. Heller's quick enough himself. And there's space on the right, which and a roar of expectation from those in the home crowd. Kept alive by Simashid. Waits for the cavalry to arrive. Park to Helpman. Once again, Helpman to spin away to settle for a throw. Considering a long throw here, maybe. Park Kyu-hyun. It's into the box, flicked on by Kuchka. Gathered up by Marco Hiller. Maka, good control, good strength. He finds Dankishi. His cross also deflected through to the keeper. No massive change between the first and second halves. We've rather picked up where we left off in first quarter of an hour of this second period. A very different second half this season for 1860. Plenty of change in January, and it's paid off for the most part. Strengthened their squad. All came during the final couple of days of the transfer window. 4 players coming in at once. Rheinthaler, Gurla, Muteba and Nankishi on loan. Only one of those so far featured this evening. Changing the boardroom too. Managing director Mark Nikolai Pfeiffer, relieved of his duties, placed by Oliver Möller. And speaking of replacements, on comes Lukas Coeto for Denis Borkowski. Coeto, often a super sub, utilised by Marcus Anfang. There's a tendency to come on and have an impact. Scored second goal in the win over Waldorf. That was his first of the season, and his 6th appearance has been used fairly sparingly. Always a burst of energy when he comes on. Still not rushing things, and no need to for now. Dresden, half an hour to go. As the second stick down, the fans will get ever more anxious, and that often reflects on the players. They'll have to rise above those kind of feelings if they are to have to wait for their second goal here. Spinning away with Schroeter from Park. Going on, similar setup to the first 1860 goal. This time it was dealt with by the Dresden backline. Zamashid moves it down the left. Couldn't hear the whistle of the referee over the noise being made by the fans. It was a free kick taken quickly. Cueto, never afraid to run at his man. Two number 11s going head to head. Greilinger doing enough. Cueto does well to keep it in. It's Houtman, it's flicked off Verlat. It nearly fell for Ahmet Arslan, who's come together with Marco Hiller. Verlat looking a little uncertain at the back again. Good work by Cueto not to give up. Verlat getting a bit caught. Awkward height. Flicked awkwardly off his knee. His keeper was alive to the danger. Willing to put his body on the line, as you'd expect. Both back now on their feet. Nankishi bursting away into the Dresden box, and it's good covering from Jakob, who punches the air. Important intervention. Nankishi continues to cause trouble. Not sure if he's been causing more trouble than just with his feet there. Getting a quick word in the ear from the referee. Schroeter to take the corner. Amidst the sound of boos and whistles, it's headed away. Remains with 1860 though. Quadwo over on the right wing. Centre back here. Advance roll, turning down the option to put the ball into the box. Reliable figure for 1860. Third most minutes in the squad behind the captain, Verlat and Schroeter. Former Dresden player. Spent 6 months with Dynamo. As you can hear the chants. It was back in 2021. Maka looking to return the throw. Fails to do so. Houtman sends one down the left wing. Verlat can deal with that though. And here is Quadwo. Very comfortable on the ball, centre back. As is Nankishi. Rolls it forwards. It's flicked off nicely towards Nankishi again by Lakanmaka. Cut out before he could let fly. Vil and Zinashid not on the same wavelength, and that's adding to the frustrations in the crowd. Gutau battling with Vil and wins the free kick. As I said, a little quiet so far, Julian Gutau. Top scorer, as mentioned. After a couple of lean weeks, scored 3 and assisted 2 in his last 4. As I said before, the game got underway, missed the loss to Ulm with the flu, as his side failed to score in his absence. He had been involved in 5 of the club's last 7 coming into this match. So far, though, not to get truly involved. Not involved in the first goal. Wouldn't write him off though. Badwo wanders forwards again. Wins another free kick. Aslan getting frustrated. .60 beginning to take their time as well. These things will add to the frustration of the home fans, as defiant as they currently sound. Schroeter whips it in, straight into the gloves of Kevin Broll. Looks to spark something. Can't pick out Zimmerschied. Aslan. Getting the early ball in. That's a wise head on young shoulders, Kalin Ludovic. Not just safety first, but with the composure to head it back to his keeper. Two sets of fans competing now. See a fair advantage in terms of numbers of the home fans. 1860 doing their best. Both in the stands and on the pitch. Lackenmacher to exchange passes with Gutau. Cut out. Aslan puts it through the legs of Gutau, as the number 11s do battle again. And it's Dreilinger comes out on top again. And Kishi brought down by Kamenekt. Proving a fairly formidable foe, Nankishi, for Claudio Kamenekt this evening. Hard to get a hold of. Just cleverly let that go through his legs. Gets it back from Stark. Lackenmacher. Stark seemingly onside. The flag stayed down. Plenty of appeals. Half the players almost looked to stop. Even Stark himself. Maybe waiting for the flag. It didn't come. He's definitely offside the second time round. Left Kamenekt to get on with it. Now, can Dresden get on with it? Overhit pass from Hauptmann. Nearly helped out by the slip from Ludovic. Fullback still got there first. Schroeter stopped by Vil. Only temporarily, though. Enough there from Ludovic to win an 1860 corner. I'm not sure you could accuse 1860 of playing for the draw just yet, but I think they would be more satisfied with that as a result. So, let's say not in a hurry to get on with things. It'll be Schroeter to take again. Outswinger this time. Over the head of Verlat. Not quite enough to get to the head of Lackenmacher. Stark. Compared to their hosts' dramas last season, 1860 played a somewhat anonymous campaign. 8th in the end, long way shy of the playoff battle. And comfortably clear of any danger. That was maybe a little disappointing, having started very promisingly. course, a staple of Bundesliga football in the 90s, 1860. Even finished as high as 4th in the top tier in the year 2000. Never fully recovered from their relegation 4 years after that. After the way things were going earlier this season, they'll settle for mid-table. I think this campaign, maybe a few dreaming of pushing on for promotion after that strong start under their manager. Series of 4 wins ended against Ulm, as did Janikis' streak of 8 without defeat. He said the team were angry about the way that they lost the game, and while some fans are hoping for a promotion push, he said they're not really focused on the top spots internally. As long as they remain where they are, that's the main focus. Perhaps understandable after relegation started to look like a genuine threat. Posing the threat here is Lucas Cueto, spinning away, his shot blocked. Battling a little too hard and gives away a free kick. Schroeter, smart in his play as ever. Another change made by Marcus Anfang. I see Robin Meissner come on. The super sub replaces the talisman. Kuchka limping off somewhat. Straight swap. Target man for target man. Meissner quite often gets on the end of set pieces, deliveries into the box of any kind. See Kuchka pulling up there, holding his hamstring. He and the staff, the fans will all hope that that's nothing long-term. Captain, top scorer. So important to Dresden's hopes, which they've taken enough blows recently. And they lift spirits here. They're taking the lead again. Zimmerschid cuts inside, still going, lays it up for Cueto, and it's in! I think the deflection. There's what it means to Kuchka. There's what it means to the fans. Dresden are back in front. I said when he came on, he had a tendency to have an impact. There's the impact. It's a raking ball over to the left. Zimmerschid cutting inside, causing confusion again, and it's off Quadwo. The man playing against his former team, who provides something of a gift to his former fans. Little he could do in truth. No time to react for what was probably a pretty comfortable save for Marco Hiller. Turned into an unsavable effort into the bottom corner via the left boot of his teammate. Cueto with his second of the season. And by far his most important if they are to hold on here. I described Meissner as the super sub. It was the man who was subbed on before him who has restored the home side's lead. See, another change has been made. Mansour Orotagba might have been the wrong kind of impact. It's a yellow. You can hear the home fans incensed there. Tensions are bubbling, almost bubbling over. Orotagba didn't even see him introduced to the game. The Togolese has come on, and the first action we've seen is him clash heads with the Dresden player. shove into the chest of Paul Ville, who went down. Tagba looking not best pleased with that, and then squaring up with Jakob Levald, who went down. Quite often you'll see any kind of headbutt immediately met with a red card. That is one of those, as Marcus Hauptmann picks up a yellow, much to the chagrin of the Dresden fans. Yes, it's one of those, as we see another substitute brought on by Ayirios Janikis. 1860s number 10, Albion Renetzi. Kosovan forward. He'll look for another to break the heart of Dresden. Yes, is it the right call for Tagba? Often a straight red. There wasn't a huge amount there. I have to say Levald made a lot of it. Tagba shouldn't be getting involved in any way and giving the opposition the opportunity to do that. Either way, referee's decision final. We remain 11 versus 11. 2 versus 1 on the scoreline. Velat blocked off by Zimmersteed. 1860 now with a notable sense of urgency compared to the case 5 minutes ago. Riling up. Quadro would love to make amends. It's harder to make amends as a defender. Heroic tackle perhaps, or opportunity from a set piece. For the most part, defenders just have to put the issue behind them as best they can, continue to do their jobs as best they can. Quadro unfortunate where his centre-back partner and captain has arguably been on the other end of Lady Luck this evening. 3 penalty appeals against him, none given, and all certainly at least a fair shout. So the goal scorer, lovely ball down the right wing, just about stays inside the touchline. Arslan cuts back once, twice, heads for the corner flag. It's a bit early for that, isn't it? 81st minute, 82nd minute now just. What it does is lose possession. That's the problem. If you start playing too defensively too early, you reduce your own chances of scoring again and putting the game to bed. Hauptmann tapes it down with some style. For Tagba to chase. He'll come together with Levald again. This time, less dramatically. Less confrontationally. Drop to the bench, Tagba. As Gutau returned from the flu. He's got 10 minutes to make an impact here. Impact with the right kind. It's an impact on the boot of Arslan. See us a few seconds to breathe here. They're bouncing again in the stands. They believe, and they're almost there. It's a result that wouldn't just restore them into the top 2 that they were so sad to fall away from. It would at least temporarily send them top. First game of the weekend, of course. Regensburg and still to play. But they would join Regensburg there. I say former title rivals, they're still title rivals. Former partner in a two-horse race, as it appeared to be, on 53 points, but with better goal difference. Can they further improve that goal difference here? Not just yet. Hiller doing enough. As Hauptmann played the ball into the box. Attempted to. Ball in cut out. Arslan encouraged over. Just setting things just so. A couple of extra seconds. Could make all the difference. Arslan fails to beat the first man. Hauptmann this time with the ball in, which was into a better area, but collected by Hiller. Park and Hauptmann combine. Let's put that out for a throw. And Park has stayed down. Now it's Dresden in no hurry to get things going. There'll be two fresh faces introduced, one of which was Luca Herrmann. And the second, Jonas Miken. Youngster, 20 years old, just turned 20. On his final teenage days last week. Zimmerschied, excellent again. Unfortunate not to get on the score sheet. I'm sure he won't mind too much as long as the result goes their way. And Herrmann, 25-year-old, scored his first and for a long time only goal of the season against his former club Freiburg. Added another and his first assist in the 3-2 win against Lübeck a few weeks ago. Used more often than not this season. Herrmann, in fact, in every game. Hasn't started them all, but has featured in every single one. Keeping that record here with at least 5 minutes to show what he can do. Nervous few minutes there'll be as well for that man, Marcus Anfang. Such a big result in terms of their season and how it might go from here. Long throw into the box. Isn't cleared. It is at least partially, and then more thoroughly. Badwo certainly not making amends there. It's not the best back pass from Marco Hiller. It was disastrous as his previous touch in the direction of his keeper. Vero Tagba battling with Levald. That's going to go on for the rest of the game. Dresden defender thought that was going to be a Dresden throw. Doesn't get the decision. I think we'll have another one launched into the box here. And the assistant had the perfect view. I want to say Levald. His reaction, maybe telling the story there. Well, young Ermichen there, nearly putting himself into danger as he tries to play it out. Kuchka watching on from the sidelines, helpless now. Queuing up in the box in light blue. Verlat keeps it alive. It's going to be gathered up by Kevin Bro. won't be getting a clean sheet. Once again, Kevin Broll. He'll settle for one goal conceded and the win, I'm sure. Going in the right direction. He keeps it down to 1 for the second week running. Far from inexperienced, of course, the second choice keeper. 28 and was Dynamo's first choice for 3 seasons across this league and the second tier. Made exactly 100 appearances, in fact, between 2019 and 2022. Briefly moved to Poland, but rejoined on a 1.5-year deal, just over a year ago now. Is he going to be called upon again here? Flicked off Park. South Korean has to get back, has to get this right, and does. It's a round of applause and a pass on the back. Fairly firm one from Kevin Ehlers. Awkward one. Good pace as Joel Zwarts looked to pounce. He's in the direction of Zwarts. Didn't reach the Dutchman though. Still the joint third top scorer in the club with 4 goals despite having played just 22 minutes since October. Long absence, made a couple of late cameo appearances in the last 2 games. As he returns to action, and another couple of minutes here. Offside flag. We'll see us tick over to 90 minutes with Dresden still in front. How much stoppage time will they have to survive? 4 minutes is the answer, which will feel like a very long 4 minutes for the home fans. A very short one for the visitors. It is back with the away side though. Defending from the front, and it's cut out by Veal in the end. Dresden could put the game to bed here. Arslan with space to shoot. Saved. It's towards Cueto. He was beaten there by Greilinger. And the game's not over just yet, but it is won back quickly here, and Meissner cuts inside. Arslan lifts it towards the back post. Whether that was shot or cross, it wasn't far away. Still, that first goal won't come. I think it was a cross. Closer to being a goal than an assist. Zwarts with 2 men for company. Can't find a way to get the ball past Kevin Ehlers. Another long throw, this time from the left flank, in the arms of Fabian Greilinger. Ludovic to Stark. Is this going to drop? Lachenmacher is offside. Calm down, does the captain. Doing everything he can from the sidelines. They're over halfway there in terms of the additional time. 90 minutes down, 90 seconds remain. A shrug from Airios Giannikis. Well, they couldn't put it to bed last time, can they, this time? No, still not. Young substitute Ermican couldn't wrestle his way free there for a one-on-one. Cueto, the hero, defending from the front. Try and ensure he remains the hero. Meissner puts it around Verlatz, and he's in here. Closed down. Marco Hiller out quickly. .30 seconds. One final throw of the dice, perhaps, for 1860. One final launch into the box. Lachenmacher gets there first. Lays up. It's into the middle, and it's a brilliant save from Kevin Bro. Down quickly to his left. Danger's not totally over, though. Stark turns, shoots over the bar, and that should be it for Dresden. Well, there is more than one hero on the field for Dresden this evening. Cueto with the game's third goal, but it was Kevin Brott with the last second save that secures an invaluable 2-1 victory for Dynamo Dresden. His captain straight over to thank the second choice keeper. It might not be a clean sheet again, but like I said, that will do nicely. 2-1. And can they use this as a platform to reignite their promotion charge? A 7-2 win wasn't enough, but this was hard fought. Badwo meets up with former teammates. He'll have had an effect he didn't want on this game. His deflection from Cueto's shot, the difference in the end. Kuchka opening the scoring, Nankishi levelling things up late in the first half. There's the big save late on. Dynamo 2-1 winners on the night, and they will go back to the summit, at least for now. 1860's strong run has now ended in 2 defeats, but they fought hard. They'll come again next week. So Dynamo, can they stay at the top? Anything's possible. It is football, after all.